reaching out to me the other day about yoga, and I have some really cool exercises for you, and I'm really stoked to share them with you. The only thing that you might need is a strap. If you have a yoga strap, that's awesome, but if you don't worry about it. If you have a belt or a scarf or any just like long piece of fabric, this is the only really piece of equipment you're going to be needing for just one of the kind of shoulder exercises. But other than that, it's really low equipment, and you can do this wherever. You don't even need a mat, just a comfortable space to move and your body. So I'm really excited to share it with you. What I have is some wrist ankle stretches, some poses for the hips, lower back, and hamstrings, and then shoulder mobility exercises. So I'm really excited to show you some things that could help. My mom had frozen shoulder in both of her shoulders a few years back, and we were actually working together for like a year doing yoga, and she was able to gain a lot of her mobility back in her shoulders. So I'm hoping that some of the same exercises will help you. So to start, just find a comfortable seat wherever you are, and then we're going to bring the arm, it's my dog over there sighing. We're going to bring the arms out to the sides, palms as if you're like pushing the walls away, fingers pointing up. You might already feel the stretch here in the wrists. And then on your exhale, start to make fists with your hands, and then draw the fingers, the hands down, feeling the stretch on the top of the wrists. Inhale, open the hands, fingers point up. Exhale, hands go into fists, the fingers point down. Flowing at your own pace here, going as fast or as slow, doing as many or as few of these. Remember to breathe. On your next exhale, gently release the arms back down. You can even shake the arms a little just to release any tension that may be built up in the shoulders. And then just start to draw some wrist circles here. This is just a really good way to warm up the wrists even more. And circle the other way. Alrighty. And then extend the legs out in front of you. And you can bend the knees as much as you need to here. If you find that it's hard for you to lengthen your spine and you're hunched back a lot, you can always take a block, if you have a block, or if you have a stack of books, or a pillow, or a folded up blanket. Really anything that's just going to support you a little bit underneath the seat, bringing the earth a little bit closer up. And then this allows you to find a little more length in the spine here. Maybe you can straighten the legs a little bit more. Wherever you are, we're just going to start to circle the ankles now. The heels on the mat. And then circle the other way. Cool. And then now we're going to flex and point the feet. So if it's easier for you, I'm going to remove the block from underneath me. But you can bring the hands behind you and just lift the right foot off the mat. If this is a lot on the core, you can keep the foot on the ground, but it's easier to have the foot lifted. On your exhale, point the toes, arching the foot, making wrinkles on your Achilles tendon. Now on your inhale, flex the foot. The heel reaches to the top of the mat, if you're sitting at a mat, or the top of the room. Toes point up. Exhale, point the toes. Inhale, flex the foot. Flow at your own pace. Slowly bring the right foot back down. You can shake the right leg out. Bring the left leg up. You're just going to do the same thing on this side. Exhaling to point the toes. Inhaling to flex the foot. Warming up the ankle here. Just notice how your body feels. Don't form any opinions or any judgments about how your body feels. We're just noticing. Bring the left foot back down. Shake the legs out. And then plant the feet onto the mat, knees bent. Roll onto the back. Now bring the right foot up to the sky. And here we're going to write the alphabet with our foot. So just taking your own time, letter by letter, writing each letter with the toes. This is a really good ankle exercise that I learned back in ballet. But to this day, it still makes my calves burn. Once you're done with one side, just bring that foot down to the mat. Lift the left foot up to the sky. And start your alphabet on this side. Notice the differences between the left and the right. When you're done, bring the left leg back down. You can rock the knees from side to side here, releasing any tension in the hips, in the lower back. And something to focus on with that exercise is that we're using the ankle more than we're using the leg. So instead of drawing with the whole leg and going from the hip here, make sure you're leg is mostly staying still, and most of the movement is coming from the ankle. So from here, we're going to open the hips a little bit. So inhale to extend the right foot to the sky. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. We're making a figure 4 with the legs. On your inhale, start to bring the left foot off the mat, grabbing behind the left thigh wherever's comfortable, and draw the left knee into the chest. Relax the shoulders, relax the head. Feel the opening in the right hip here, deep breaths, relax the jaw. Slowly lower the left foot down to the mat or the earth. Uncross the right ankle from the left knee. Plant the right foot onto the floor. The left foot reaches up to the sky. Cross the left ankle over the right knee this time. Inhale. The right foot comes up off the mat. Grab behind the right thigh. Hug the knee into the chest. Deep breaths on this side. Slowly release the right foot down to the mat. Uncross the left ankle from the right knee. You can rock the knees from side to side again. Bring the knees back to center. Bring the knees into the chest. Tuck yourself into a little ball. Maybe rock from side to side. And then start to rock back and forth, the length of the spine, rolling on the mat. And then roll yourself up to seated. And then from here, we're going to grab your strap, belt, scarf, any piece of fabric, working into our shoulder mobility. You're going to take the strap or whatever you have and find a distance. It's probably going to be like maybe your wingspan or a little bit shorter than that. But start with a really wide grip on your strap. And then we're just going to work on bringing the strap up overhead and then back behind us. And if that's really easy for you at this length, you can start to bring your hands in. It's my pup. The goal is that the more mobile your shoulders get, the closer your hands will be able to be on the strap, going back and forth in this movement. Don't push yourself though. Only do a few of these. You don't want to overstretch your shoulders. At the end of your third one, let's call it good. And you can do that stretch every day, morning and night. It's It's a really good way to just open the shoulders, get that whole rotation in. Another good shoulder exercise is just to bring one hand behind you, reaching in between the shoulder blades. I'm going to turn around. And then bringing the opposite hand up in between. The fingers point towards each other. Don't worry if you can't grab hold of the hands. That's where you can take your strap and just grab your strap in one hand, having it dangling down the back. And then the other hand can grab onto the strap and then walk and work your way up or down. Make sure your spine is lengthened here. Gaze directly forward. Make sure the chin isn't tucked into the chest. And take a few deep breaths. Release the hands from the strap. Then we'll take the stretch on the other side. Grabbing your strap in the opposite hand, and take that hand behind the back, reaching in between the shoulder blades. The opposite hand comes up, reaching up. For the other hand, fingers point towards each other, grabbing the strap here if you need it, walking the hands up and down, opening the shoulders. Slowly release the hands. Bring the hands out beside you. Shake the arms out to the sides. Then we'll make our way into tabletop, coming onto all fours. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. On your inhale, let's reach the chest forward and gaze up. Allow the belly to soften, tailbone lifts, cow pose. Exhale, push the mat away, arch the spine, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose, belly softens. Exhale, push the mat away, arch the spine, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, come back into tabletop. Shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. Imagine you have a pencil in your belly button now. Start to draw big imaginary circles with your pencil. Circling the hips, circling the shoulders, over the wrists. And circle the other way. Cool. Bring yourself back to center. Now start to bring the hands so the fingers are pointing to the sides of the mat. Spread the fingers as wide as you can here. And just start to draw little tiny circles over the wrists. And circle the other way. Bring yourself back to center. Walk the fingers as far back as you can. maybe pointing to the knees, maybe not, maybe just staying pointing to the sides of the mat. Wherever you are, start to draw little circles here. Circle the other way. Bring yourself back to center. Bring the hands so the fingers point back to the top of the mat now. Bring the toes together. Widen the knees. Send the hips back for child's pose. Let the forehead relax on the mat. Relax the belly. Relax the jaw here. The hands can extend in front of you, or you can bring the hands down by the feet, giving the shoulders a little break. Take 3 deep breaths here. Feel the opening in the lower back, in the hips, the tops of the ankles. Start to bring the hands back in front of you, if they're not. Bring yourself back up into tabletop, shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. Engage the core, the belly button draws in towards the spine. On your inhale, extend the right leg long behind you. On your exhale, start to bring the right foot between the hands at the top of the mat. And you can grab hold of your ankle, bringing your foot forward if you need to. Finding a low lunge here. You can allow the hips to sink down towards the earth as much as they can. Take a few deep breaths here. The right foot pushes into the mat, the earth. Press into the right big toe here. On your inhale, start to straighten the leg as much as you can. Lift the toes off the mat. Finding a little hamstring stretch here. Bend the knee as much as you need to. If you're feeling the stretch, you're doing it. Slowly bring yourself back down into your low lunge. Step the right foot back. Plant the knee onto the mat, coming back into tabletop. Now let's take that on the other side. So inhale, extend the left leg long behind you. Exhale, the left foot comes in between the hands. You can wiggle the left foot forward if you need to. Finding a comfortable spot here. The hands can rest under the shoulders, or if you need to take blocks, books, any support underneath the hands, that's an option too. Or maybe even just rest the elbows on the knee. Taking a few deep breaths wherever you are. On your inhale, slowly start to straighten the left leg this time. The toes lift up off the earth, finding your hamstring stretch on the left side. Relax the jaw. Draw the left hip back and the right hip forward. Might feel a more intense stretch now. Few more deep breaths. Slowly bring the left foot back down, coming back to your low lunge. Step the left foot back, the left knee comes down onto the mat. You can rock the hips from side to side here, wagging your tail like a dog. Bring yourself back to center. And send the hips back for child's pose. Inhale, slowly bring yourself back up. Cross the ankles over each other. Sit back onto the feet. Extend the legs out in front of you. Coming back into a seated position. I hope these poses and these exercises help you a little bit in your mobility with your shoulders, ankles, wrists, and also finding a little more release in the lower back, hips, and hamstrings. I'm also going to be sending you a video of breaking down a sun salutation, and then a video from my Patreon, which is not public and available for everyone. So stay tuned for those. And thank you again so much for reaching out, and I hope you're doing well, and I hope the family's doing well.